Let's get our next project out. This is gonna take some time. Didn't think there was this much stuff sitting on top of it. Are you one of those people that like to keep every scrap of wood because you think you're gonna use it in the future? That's my husband, and that's not me. That's not me. I'm like, let's get rid of it right now. Good morning. You ready to see today's project? Me too. It's a gorgeous day out in the shop. Let me turn the lights on. You know, short people problems. You can tell that somebody placed something hot on the top because it looks burnt. And then they were trying to update the piece with this hardware. I'm not completely sure. I want to see how the drawers stand. But unfortunately, when they added the new hardware, they drilled some extra holes in it. The original hardware on the bottom drawers had 2 holes on each side, and they drilled a third one on each side to make sure that this new one fit, which is a bummer because I would have loved to left these naked, but we'll see if I can get any natural wood on this. I don't want to overplan myself because you have to leave a little bit of room for adventure. You guys know I'm gonna try my best to update it and make it look a little classy. Unfortunately, they also drilled some extra holes on the top drawers. So what they did is they added these extra hole to add that new hardware. We'll see what I come up with, if this sounds beautiful. We'll see. Right now I'm feeling really strong about painting the body and staining the top and the front drawers, but it all comes down about how well does the wood underneath the salt stain looks like. And the reason why the dresser already looks clean is because it is. I did it off camera, so sorry, but just know that I already cleaned it. As soon as I remove it from the back of the garage, which was yesterday, I had to give it a good clean with a degreaser, and I ended up using simple green. Okay, perfect. Love you, bye. I started sanding using 120 grit, but I wasn't getting very far. Let's see if this works better, because that isn't doing a whole lot and it's taking a while. And it definitely helped things move along a little faster. I was trying to sand carefully, especially where that burn mark was, because I didn't want to sand through the veneer. Again, I'm really aiming for staining the top. I just finished sanding the top. We might have a chance at staining the top. Let me show you where that burn mark was. There's a little bit, you can see a little bit, but it's not bad. I think we can get away with it. There. Yeah, it's just this part here. I think the fact that the wood grain is darker there really is helping camouflage it. And I'm not really bothered by that. So at this point, I'm just gonna keep on sanding and let's see how the drawers look. I'm getting to the point where my hands are getting all tingly from holding on the sander and my ears are ringing, so I think it's safe to say that I need a little rest. I'm taking a little break from sanding to pick up some raspberries and strawberries. Here, I want to show.
remember how I had partially wanted to paint the dresser? I even had a color picked out and everything.
Spot of green, like a really beautiful green. I wasn't even sure that I was gonna have the color that I wanted, but this looks pretty cool.
But it's about right at this stage of sanding both sides of the dresser that I start changing my mind.
Not only has the weather changed, but also my plans for this dresser. Remember at the beginning of the video how I said that we needed to leave a little bit of room for adventure? This is what I'm talking about. Now that it's all sanded and I see how gorgeous the walnut veneer is, I don't want to paint it. And I'm really loving this blondie version of the walnut veneer because you're gonna see that as I wash it, it's gonna turn red and dark, but I'm really liking this. So I want to try and apply a couple rounds of wood bleach and perhaps a tan color wash to see if I can get close to this look.
Now that the piece has been washed, you can see those parts where the burn was. I'm hoping that by applying the wood bleach, that will help with how much is standing out now. So let's go for it. This two-step solution wood bleach from Sincere is very easy to use. Basically, you have to apply solution A. While solution A is still wet, that's when you go ahead and apply solution B. Even though the box says to wait 5 minutes between A and B, I find that on really hot days, solution A dries before those 5 minutes. So basically, I just make my decision based on how solution A is looking.
I think I'm gonna do at least 2 rounds.
Keep in mind that I'm using separate containers and separate sponges to apply solution A and B. The other thing that the box recommends is to let the solution sit overnight. But between you and I, after 4 hours, I have a pretty good idea if I need to apply a second round or if I'm happy with the way things are looking. The other thing I want to point out is, I don't know if you noticed that the front frame of the dresser is made out of probably white oak, which means that the wood is a lot lighter already. For obvious reasons, I won't need to apply any bleach to those areas.
Good morning. Yesterday I ended up applying a total of 3 rounds of wood bleach, and if you look at the wood grain up close, you're gonna see some white residue from that bleach. Today I'm gonna be scuff sanding using a 220 grit and then doing a final rinse to get rid of that wood bleach residue. So I'm really intrigued to see what kind of results I get. My goal is to give it a look that is gonna update it so people can see it in their homes today. That is the whole goal, to save these pieces from the landfill. Let's get to it. I have to mention is that we still have to make repairs, but normally I don't like to make repairs until after I have waited and see the tones of the wood after the wood bleach round. As you can see, what the bleach did is that it took all those red tones. Also now, or the frame matches with the drawers so much more.
Now that our dresser is clean and dry, I'm getting ready to apply clear shellac. Since I had run out of the sprayable form of this product, I ended up brushing it, but this ended up not being a good decision, and I'll explain to you why. Just like when brushing paint, there's a risk of applying uneven coats. Clear shellac is no different. When brushing this product, rather than spraying it, there is a possibility the coat won't go as thin or even as desirable. If this happens, the color wash won't be absorbed evenly and your piece will look patchy. And this is the reason why I highly recommend and prefer spraying clear shellac. You really get a thin and even coat that way. And in a couple minutes, you're gonna see what happened to my piece. About an hour since I applied the last coat of shellac. I'm just doing a very light scuff sand using a 220 grit. This is gonna remove just the little bit of sheen that shellac tends to leave after it dries. That way the color wash won't have any issues sticking to the surface. Oh, sounds awful. I'm gonna be using this wood filler in the color Golden Oak that I think gets really close to the tones that we have going on to cover the hardware holes and this corner here where the veneer chip. It's pretty cool. For the color wash, we're gonna be mixing 1 part of Algonquin Fusion mineral paint with 3 parts water. So I'm gonna try to apply a very thin coat so that I don't have to wipe off any excess. You see how my paint starts separating? That means that I need to scuff sand the shellac a little more because the paint is not going in. So before I keep going, I'm gonna wipe off the color wash and I'm gonna scuff sand just a little more. Your paint should not be separating. I'm just gonna go very lightly. I'm gonna start over. Okay, it's not longer separating, so we're okay. Again, I'm gonna go for a very light coat here. Full disclosure, I ended up having to scuff sand a lot more than just that small side of the dresser. And as you're gonna see in about a minute, that was not the only issue I ran into. A total of 3 coats of this color wash were applied, waiting 1 hour between one coat and the next. I'm really sad to report that the next morning I saw that the finish on both sides of the dresser looked patchy, which meant that the color wash didn't absorb evenly, and I'm pretty sure it has to do with the way that the shellac was applied. In my efforts to fixing it, I sanded both sides down to bare wood, reapplied the color wash, and it didn't help. Could have been that there was something on the veneer itself. It is possible. Either way, the shellac should have helped, and it didn't. Applying a stain color today is my attempt to camouflage those irregularities. The brown down just a little bit by splashing a little bit of the Simply White. Yeah, I like that. Pretty tan color. And I'm applying it using a sponge because this is the fastest way, most effective way I found to apply stain. I chose this stain color specifically because I thought it was very close to the color wash tone that I had achieved on the dresser, but as I'm applying it, it's looking a lot more gray than I wanted, which I'm a little disappointed, to be honest. Stinks because I have really loved the tone that I gotten, so there's definitely a little more gray, but I'm applying a very light coat. Not only is the coat of stain light, but I'm letting it sit for a very short time too, because the longer you let it sit, before wiping off the excess, the more it will absorb and the darker it will take. Since I'm trying to stay away from that, I'm applying and pretty much wiping off any excess right away. Today we're gonna be protecting the new finish, and even though it's not the look that I was aiming for, I'm still happy with the way that this dresser looks. I'm pretty certain that it's gonna find a new home very soon, and it's gonna last many years, and I'm still keeping it from going to the landfill. I'm using this wipe-on poly that's super easy to apply. This is an oil-based product that I'm applying over my oil-based stain I used yesterday. When it came to choosing the right handles, I ran into a couple of challenges. The first one is that the top drawers have a curvature to them. I looked through all the stash of hardware that I have and didn't find anything, but I thought, let's try the adjustable pulls and see how they look. Even though there isn't a curvature to them, after I tied them really well, they looked like they were meant to be there. So that was a win. Now for the knobs. After I put this hardware, I'm not crazy about it. I don't think it goes well with the bars or the pulls. And I like this one, but the screw that it came with, it's really long. So I'm gonna show you because I ended up buying a tool to cut the screws. We'll see how it goes. So first of all, we need to figure it out how long does my screw need to be. Basically, I'm gonna mark with a piece of tape how much I need to cut. I'm gonna cut right there. I'm pretty glad I ended up buying this tool a few months back when I realized that longer screws were kind of a thing with new hardware. After running into the same issue over and over, I finally decided to buy it, and boy am I glad I had it on hand today. Lastly, I'm adding some furniture tonic from Wise Owl to the drawer guide to eliminate that annoying sound that it was making when you were opening and closing it. Are you ready to take a quick look at our before and after? He might not look like I was picturing it in my head, but he still looks pretty handsome. I want to know what you guys think, so please let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys next time.